we do now. We don't like add in. Some clubs will play a little bit of rock and roll. We play only rock and roll. I like the girls that come here.
All right, cool. We're on Disco Acid Cult TV. We're on for a rare Monday because we have Hannah Dollas with us tonight.
Hello. Loving that intro, by the way. I was like really kind of vibing out to that song. Did you make that?
Yeah, I have a stash of little rinky-dink songs like that I made in GarageBand when I was first getting sober. So, I've
I
been
love it.
running, I've been running through them with intros. I wanted something that was, like I said, rinky-dink. I don't say that as an insult to me. It's just kind of quirky and fun, something
No,
easy.
I know what you meant. Yeah. I have a bunch of stuff like that too.
Yeah, just stuff you sit around and make on your phone.
I love it.
Protomax, what's up? You are always the first person to show up. Much appreciated. I'll see you tomorrow night. All right, so I was gonna say first and foremost, you're actually the first person. The reason I like you so much is because you're actually the first person that I've like hit up out of the blue. So I hit up a lot of people all the time asking for interviews. I'm usually shooting far out of my range. I'm hitting up people with way too many followers and subscribers, but you're the first person that I've ever hit up that you were just straight up like, yeah, sure, let's do it, like right away. So you're like
I'm
the first
out.
interview that I've had on. So it's cool to now do the live stream where I don't get to edit things out. So I'll try not to rant too much.
No, go for it.
But
I'm happy to be that person. I remember getting that message and you're the like one of the first people that's reached out to interview me. So it goes both ways. It's very full circle.
oh yeah, hell yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
if I ever get lucky somehow and I take off somehow first, like into the atmosphere, I'm taking you with me for sure.
You know what? Same to you.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
hear that. Hear that.
All right, so I told you I was going to start off with some nonsense. I did see you talked about going to that Kings game, that LA Kings hockey game. Did you get into
Loved
beef
it.
with some people there?
Oh my god, I did get that. I got some bitches 86. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
I was
So I don't know if
wondering
you know
how.
this, but the crypto arena is like it's very easy to get kicked out and 86th from, which I had heard about through some of my really problematic sports betting friends that, like maybe go had too many beers and I like know a couple guys that got kicked out. So I'm at this Kings game, platforms on, chain on, the only bad bitch there basically. I'm there with my friend and we were like, we've had a few drinks, we're having a good time. We went to go get me a little Hello Kitty stuffed animal, and we're going back into like we had these kind of like nicer VIP area seating. So we're walking through the area, and these girls just are like running down the hallway. No need to run. I'm the only person there. Like it's not like there's a crowd or a line. I know how bitches are when they're moving weird, right? It's just from the jump. So these two run by me, and I almost fell to the ground. I'm wearing heels. I'm like kind of drunk. So they pushed by me, and if I didn't move, she would have shoved me to the ground. So she goes forward, she says sorry, and I'm like, yeah, just be careful because some people are wearing heels. And then she starts getting loud with me. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you just almost shoved me. She goes, I didn't touch you. I said, yeah, because I maneuvered out of the way, but like, there's no need to be shoving people. So then her homegirl starts getting in, then their dudes start getting in. So of course the guy that I'm with, he's very protective of me. And he's like, we're both kind of like down to spar type of people. We just are. So yeah, essentially he starts getting in it with the guys. I'm like, I'm Dallas, who the fuck are y'all? Whatever. And so then all the security, they're like spawning out of every corner. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot. Like this arena is really bad for that. So of course I go, charming dolls mode, and I'm just talking to the girl security guard who's like young and pretty, and I'm like, you know how it is with these kind of ops. Like, I'm sorry, they did shove me. You can look back at the cameras on the exact thing that happened. They came at us after. They're like, they were circling my guy. We were trying to walk forward. And so eventually they just kept saying like, let us see your tickets, let us see your tickets. And I was like, no, I'm not going to show you our tickets. I think you should go get them because there's four people trying to cause a problem with two. So like, if it's just like a numbers game, look at the footage. So I guess they did go and look at the footage. They saw that those two girls were at fault. They kicked those girls out, but they let the guys stay. So we're sitting in the crowd. We go back and, first of all, they were like acting like they were sitting in the same row as us. They were like in the nosebleeds. We're like in the second row. So we go down to our seats, and I don't know, I just felt eyes on me, and I turn, I look up, and I see them, and they're flipping me off. They're all aggressive. So I was like, I'm gonna film those hoes. Of course you're big mad, but not only that, you guys didn't just lose the fight. You lost your girlfriends because you should have left the game with them. These
That's what
two
I was gonna
dudes,
say.
right? Like, in what beta male world? And I'm glad I cussed them out because that's some beta male energy to let those girls take the fall when really the problem would have been solved because I kept going forward. It was the two guys that wanted to keep beefing with my guy. And that's when I had to go in and pull him. But I thought it was so funny because when we were leaving, they were waiting. They were waiting at their section, trying to find us. And I was like, what do you guys want to look for us for? You already messed up your night. You're both single now. And it's just embarrassing regardless. So of course we came out victorious. All the security, when I was walking out, they were like, hope you guys are okay. And I'm like, I know, I am okay now. Thanks for doing your job. And people don't realize, like, you cannot mess with dollars and get away with it. I try to tell people, I tried to warn them when we were walking up the staircase, I'm dollars, who the fuck are you? They started laughing. And that's what's I think is funny, because who ended up getting 86th? Not me. But I got to
Yeah.
say what I wanted to say and needed to say. And, I'm glad that I remembered how serious it is, because I probably would have socked one of them in the face, Mike Tyson. And glad I didn't, because I don't want to be banned in case they do another Hello Kitty night at this arena. Like, you never know when she'll come back. I need to be there for her.
Yeah. No, you can't miss the Hello Kitty nights. Sometimes you got to put these people to rest, though.
Right? Yeah. RIP.
Protomax, less than 10 minutes in, drops a Goku reference, but that's a compliment on the channel to be called Goku, so that's a
Period.
positive right there.
Yeah. I consider myself, I mean, I don't really watch anime, but like, I feel like I'm a little Mike Tyson with it sometimes. Put me out there.
This one might be quick. I don't know, but did you watch anything? What do you watch anything? Like, have you watched the Grammys or the Super Bowl, or do you care about any of that stuff?
So I actually never watched the Super Bowl, but I did end up watching it yesterday with my ex-boyfriend because I don't know why I was even hanging out with him, but I was
If
like
there's ever a time
bored
to hang
and
out with your ex, it's the Super Bowl.
you know what I mean? I'm like, he's gonna have wings at the house. I'm hungry, like whatever. And his team lost and he lost a shit ton of money, and that's what happens to my exes. They just perish. I wasn't affected, but I thought it was um I don't know. I didn't really care for the whole event. I don't think it was that glitz and glam. I think like I don't really care for the halftime show or anything, and I think Bad Bunny is great, has great music, but like, I'm tired of there always needing to be a message being
Yeah.
sent. Like, where is just remember when it was just Beyonce with like glitz and glamour, and they were like, oh, it's a satanic dance, or like Rihanna, or it's like I would rather have people like that doing something dramatic and glamorous rather than like there's a wedding and there's this stuff happening. But I do applaud, he's Bad Bunny's an amazing artist. You can't knock that from him. And he's got a great personality. And like I think his message came across really well. And I'm happy that it had that result for people. But for me, I was just like, where are the bitches like wearing pink sparkly outfits with like fireworks is what I wanted in this thing. Maybe not pink outfits, but give us some sparkles and fireworks.
Yeah, and it used to be, hey, what's up, Annie? It used to be, like Britney Spears used to like get up on stage with a snake and shave her head just for the love of the game. There was no message, like you're saying. Everything now has to have some big message, and they've got to go back and forth with the sides. And it's like, yeah, what happened to just doing it for the love of the game? What happened to just I'm gonna do some, I'm gonna pull off Janet Jackson's top just for the
Yes.
love of the game, just
I
so
mean, that
people
I
see
don't
it.
condone. I will say that one is a little messy, but there's a story. There's something that's like, you can grasp onto. I thought the commercials were horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
definitely Michael Jackson's was good.
Oh, Pantera for halftime game. The world's not ready for Pantera at the halftime.
I think like it needs to be, like the next. I feel like the Strokes would do a really good job. Honestly,
That
I
would be
think they
great.
would kill it. Like, I feel like I heard. I don't know if you heard. Like, wasn't Green Day supposed to perform too?
They opened, which I didn't know there was an opener for Super Bowl. They did play. They opened.
Okay, like I didn't even know that. Yeah, I didn't know that either. So I remember it being like, it's just a random pairing of Green Day and Bad Bunny, but I didn't see the opening. What did you? I will say I enjoyed the little fist fight.
Was
Did
there
you
a
see
fist
the
fight?
Stefan Diggs?
I had
Did
no
you see
idea.
that?
I don't even know who that is.
So like what's wild, I just having gone to this hockey game, those hockey boys really get into fights on the ice. Like
Yeah.
they are violent out there and it's all allowed, right? So it's interesting seeing in football, which is super not allowed, like poor sportsmanship and whatever. And these dudes, I don't remember who the guy was on the Seahawks, but Stephon Diggs and this dude were punching each other in the face on the field or into their helmets or whatever. I think he got arrested. I heard that. I can't verify that it actually happened, but I'm pretty sure he got arrested afterwards. And then also Cardi B dumped him and she unfollowed him after he lost. And so it was an interesting day for people that are Patriots fans because your top dog is like losing it. Your players are all losing it. A lot of money was lost on the Patriots yesterday. I'll just say that, and not mine. I don't sports bet, but
There's two great points in there. One, um, sports fights need to come back and they need to be welcomed, like especially like in
yes,
basketball, football. Don't let them fight for a fucking hour, but give them some time to figure some shit out.
I
Nowadays, it's
love it.
all way too. In the NBA, you get kicked out of a game now if you even look at the ref the wrong way. It's ridiculous. And then two, Cardi B dumping her guy. Girls will dump you if you lose a fight, and I can't see an issue with it. I've always told
I
all
don't
my
either.
girlfriends, if I ever get beat up in front of you, feel free to walk away and pretend like you don't know me.
Well, I think so. I think it's a mixture, like his poor sportsmanship mixed with the fact that they didn't win, mixed with the fact that his pre-bowl interview, he was explicitly asked, "If you get a ring, are you going to give Cardi a ring?" And he brushed it off. And like this, I don't know why she does this because I think she's a boss, but she chooses the wrong men, and then she just kind of, it seems like a prolonged humiliation ritual to some extent. Because imagine, like, you're at the game here. You're pregnant with this man's child. Like, and he has, I think he had four baby mamas there. Like, multiple other women were there being posted up in better rooms. He's like taking care of them. And, here's like his whole baby mama who's a star, who's like putting him on the map. She's kind of doing for him what like Taylor Swift is doing for Travis Kelce, if you will, because it's creating a huge demographic of people that have nothing to do with sports, but like, our female audience members and stuff like that, female demographics that listen to rap music or like it's a whole different scene. I had no idea who he was before she was dating him, right? Or like same I don't even, I don't like Taylor Swift. And we should talk about her takedown because it's getting really good. I don't know if you saw she was really booed at the Super Bowl yesterday.
I've seen really quick. I will just entertain this Proto Max asking the good questions. Has any pro athletes ever hit you up?
Um, yes, but not anyone that like I would say yes to.
Okay,
Like I've had a few football players, but like when I'm talking football, I mean like England, like football, that kind of football.
okay.
Um,
So like people that you wouldn't say are like huge American names.
no, not
Um,
huge American names. I've had a couple of boxers. One of them is bigger, well
okay.
known, but he's also riddled with conspiracies. So we don't, I don't want to, that one I'm not really like sure what is safe to say on that one, but I think you might be able to assume something there. But yeah, like the British lads love me. I don't know. I'm sure you saw the movie Weapons, right?
Yeah, that was one of the few really good movies from last year.
Agreed. I think it's the best movie I saw last year, and I
Yeah,
just rewatched it last night with one of my friends who hasn't seen it, and like I realized the guy who plays James in that movie, who's kind of like the tweakery guy, um,
the homeless guy.
yeah, a homeless guy,
Yeah.
like nothing ever came out of it. But like when I first moved to LA, me and that guy matched on Hinge or something, and like we're talking for a bit, like like we're trying to go on a date, and I ended up going out of town, and then we just never rescheduled. And I think he deactivated his account because he like got famous. He was on Euphoria and stuff following that, and I was like, why is this guy messaging? Like, why are we matching? Like, why aren't you on Raya? But I kind of regret not going on the date with him because like he's such a great actor. I think he's gonna become a really big name. I have to say, are you happy with the Beatles casting?
No, but I'm not going to be happy with any Beatles casting.
I think if Austin Abrams, the guy who played James, was George, it would be so much better.
I could see him playing George Harrison.
They look alike. Like there's a lot of they could really turn that guy into him. He obviously, I'm seeing him again with the long hair as James. It's like okay, like he pulls off the long hair too. It doesn't look like weird or awkward on him. Because usually in stuff he's got like his kind of cleaner cut, shorter hair. But I was just thinking, ugh, what a shame. Like they could have used him to be the only one that I think is okay is the guy who's playing Paul McCartney. But even then, it's like I don't know. I feel like they should have got someone that's they got these boys that just they're not even it's not even like a pretty factor. It's like they're not hitting the niche, like the yin and yang aspects of these guys. Like I feel like Paul McCartney is a very yin heavy because he's like round and like looks like very youthful. You know, like he has like these kind of like down his eyes kind of go down a little bit, like downturn. I don't know how to describe it, but he just kind of has like basset hound eyes and like this like softness to him. And then they choose these guys with all this bone structure and like I don't know, it's like prominent bone structures on all these dudes, and I don't really feel like they're matching their counterparts. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I'm not a huge Beatles fan, but obviously they're iconic and like like their process. If I was in the 60s, I'd probably love them. So
Yeah, Paul McCartney does definitely have a boyish look to him. I think that's kind of like the separating factor. Like people that choose between John Lennon or Paul McCartney, you either like junky rock stars or you like boyish, charming guys. I mean, obviously, I've always preferred John Lennon, but
right.
Paul McCartney, and actually, that is kind of funny that you mentioned that too much bone structure in these actors in Hollywood nowadays. You know, I was always, or I always talk about how, like, I don't want to say all the actors in Hollywood are pretty because they're definitely not all attractive, but they all kind of have the same kind of like what Hollywood thinks is pretty. There's
Yeah.
no ugly people in movies anymore. And
No.
like, especially like you watch a movie from the 70s and it was like, a lot of the guys have like hairlines that are fighting for their lives and there's like actual fat people and like you'll see a movie with like a gas station attendant and it looks like a real fucking gas
Gas
station
station
attendant.
attendant.
Yeah,
Yes.
nowadays it's like it'd be Brad Pitt playing the gas station attendant
I was
and
gonna
it's
say it's like Jennifer Lawrence working the counter. Like
yeah,
it's like Timothy Chalamet, like is like the junkie guy, or like even like someone like Austin Abrams who played the part well, but like he's these aren't the people that you would suspect. So I agree with that. I will say I don't know. I feel like it's there's always been like the classic Hollywood star, but it almost feels like there's no longer like most of them are that now. Like there used to be maybe more genres of star or like maybe not genres, but it just feels like any of them could play anything now. Like that's how Hollywood works.
yeah,
And then certain people are typecast and don't get opportunities, but then there's people like Sydney Sweeney who honestly should be typecast as the
yeah,
roles that she's good at, but like, she'll somehow get some of these horror movie roles or like I think that movie Immaculate she did or like there's certain or she played the boxing girl and something and it's like why would you put Sydney Sweeney in this? Like
yeah,
she's so pretty. They made her look weird, but like there's just a lot more women I think like okay that could probably better like hone in on that energy of that character because they put these beautiful women like even Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi for Wuthering Heights is just not a good move and she's like 20 years she's beautiful like age doesn't even matter but that character is supposed to be like a 19-year-old like that's what I think so just stuff like
yeah.
that. where it's very like awkward casting. And like Heathcliff is supposed to be, I don't know if you ever read that book, but like I read that book and they just did a horrible job. I'm yeah,
Uh,
disappointing.
yes, Sydney Sweeney is the magic name on this channel. I've done the best live stream I ever did as far as concurrent viewers was, God, I went like full on immature boy live stream and I just did ranking pictures of Sydney Sweeney where I just found like 200 pictures of her and just ranked them all from like S tier to, and of course they were all like S or A tier.
Right.
Yeah, I saw the
She's
Death
really
Rise.
attractive. You know, you can't like knock that. I don't really, I don't think I'd get along with her. I'll be real. She seems pretty like anti Dolla's core, but I'd like use her in a music video, or
Yeah.
like I'd have her as a prop. I think she's a great prop. Um,
What do you think about, okay, so like as far as the actress is, and the best example I have for this is Jenna Ortega. Jenna Ortega used to be a total babe, but now she's kind of got the skeleton face going on, and it seems like a lot of the girls are doing that. What is I'm not one to like I know I'm a dude, so I'm not really allowed to tell girls like
you're allowed.
that's not the look, but the skeleton face, Ariana Grande is another example.
Oh
And I
yeah.
just don't understand like, and really when it comes to any kind of plastic surgery or kind of facial, like never, please never like inject your face with plastic because it does.
No.
I've never seen it work. It's never made anybody actually more attractive. It just makes you look weird and unhuman.
So I'm gonna like at a later time, I'll have to show you a couple people I know that are ops that I've found their before pictures that they've tried to scrub from the internet. And sometimes it's undetectable. I will
Uh-huh.
tell you. I mean, I think you can always tell when a girl's had her lips done. You can tell if you can see a baby picture and their lips look the same, there you go. But if not, the girl had her freaking lips done. And it's like more just that look is not how most people's lips are. So I think like especially and I'm in West Hollywood, it's like you see it all over. But there's a lot of what people don't realize is that your face is so like changing still. Like you still have like a lot more collagen when you're in your 20s, your early 30s. So as you age and when you get that work done, while it's like it as you age it just does things worse. It's almost like it'd be better to let yourself age and then when you're like 40 get work done. And I'm not like here's a good example. Okay, Kim Kardashian, when she was like in her late 20s, like when the show was just starting, um, she didn't really, I don't think she really had work done. Like, I don't think that her body was done. I think it was authentic, and that's kind of like what brought her up. And she had like a beautiful face. She wasn't perfect, but she probably had a little bit of filler, a little bit of Botox and stuff like that. But then you look at that comparatively speaking, like she started really getting work done in her mid 30s, I want to say. Or like that's when you're like, okay, she definitely got a BBL now. Okay, she got a boob job. Okay, she got stuff out of her waist. Okay, the face looks different. But look at someone like Kylie who started doing that at 16 and how she progressed. And it's like, Kim is older. I think she like looks like a woman who gets work done. She doesn't look like super old or super young. You just look like I don't know, but like Kylie looks really weird in real life. And she's
Hmm.
had to get facelifts already. Like this is a girl who was 26, had a facelift, 27 had a facelift. Where, so if you compare that, like Kim probably didn't have a facelift for another 10 years after that, which is why her face has been like I just think it's better to wait. I think it's way better to let your natural stuff sit and like use this collagen, let it do its thing. And once it starts to deplete, then you go in. Like for me, I'm so excited to be like 40 and like, go do some stuff. Maybe I'll go do some fun stuff and like get a little under eye filler or whatever. But like I like to look young. I like having a real looking face. I think that being said though, I've seen some of these before pictures. A lot of people were born not very delightful. And I think I'm a little bit, it's maybe a little easier for me to say, like, oh, no one needs to get work done just because I'm like perfect or whatever, not to like be extra, but like I love myself. I'm very happy with myself. And so, like it's most people are not really happy with themselves. So I don't knock it, but I do think it's a colossal mistake to start so early. Because you can already see the damage being done in the most wealthy women in the whole world. They have to get facelifts already. So if Kylie Jenner isn't safe, none of these girls that are, barely even having enough money to do it a couple times a year are safe either. Um, that's my thoughts on it.
It's a good point. Like, dude, you should let your face fall before you get a facelift.
Right.
Like, what are you lifting? And then and I'm sure you're totally right. It does make sense. If you hit your 40s, sure, get some stuff done if you want, but when you're putting that stuff in your face while your face is still developing, it's like fucking with your brain before you're 25 or whatever. You just
100%. Which
let it
we're guilty of,
finish.
but, it's fine.
Yeah, well, I think we're all guilty of fucking with our brains before our brains fully developed. But yeah, as far as like face and whatnot, want to look like Bonnie Blue. Well, that's a whole different scenario. Bonnie Blue
See,
is
exactly. Like, see, and she says she's 26. I'd have a hard time. Like, I think about her voice. Her voice just sounds like it's 30s to me. I think
she
she's
sounds
probably
very
like
worn
33.
down.
Yeah. But also, like, I, it's like it sounds almost like not matronly, but like closer to that era than to like a young woman's voice. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's I think she's 33. I'll say, like, I do. She doesn't look super old, but there's obvious things about her that are off. I heard she got like, is she even, she was like arrested again, or she's not doing so
Uh,
well, that girl.
Last I heard, she was arrested in some Asian country for trying to do a bang bus, and obviously this country had laws against doing a bang bus, and she was let go though. They held her for a couple days. Like it could have been, she got arrested. I think that I talked about that on the channel. I think it's funny how a lot of American people, I joke and say white girls because it does seem to be a lot of white girls, but a lot of American people, for the most part, don't really seem to understand that like the rest of the world does not always fuck with you in your way of life, which is fine.
Um,
Like other countries can have their thing, but you can't go to like strict Asian countries and do a bang bus. Like it's just not going to work. But
I know.
then it makes me think publicity stunt. Maybe she knew she was going to get arrested because she's got a team. I'm sure they looked up the laws. I'm sure they knew what was going to happen. And yeah, I guess if it's a publicity stunt, I guess you can't knock her in that sense.
I
But
think all her things are rage bait. I think she's like the queen of rage bait,
yeah,
and I think it's super orchestrated. So I agree with you on that, because it's like, you know what I mean? This stuff. Certain places have, it's like going to Dubai and doing something like that. Like, you don't, like, you wouldn't know that this is condemned there. So, but I guess she's probably not that stupid.
it
Who knows?
does seem like the new OnlyFans method to do rage bait, and that is that is one little bit of credit I will, for as much shit as people talk about OnlyFans girls, and as much as I like to joke about OnlyFans girls on the channel, they have become, I mean, better market. I mean, what can I say? I don't have 1,000 subscribers, and these OnlyFans girls that are like 18 make millions of dollars, and they do it because they market really well. I guess I feel bad for artists. I'm sure you would have an opinion on this. People, you see these memes about like kids that start rock bands and they're like, dude, I just want to write music. I don't want to tell jokes on Instagram. But you have to make memes now. You have to make short form content. You have to, and it's like, dude, I just want to record songs. And
I hear you on that. And then I heard a creator on TikTok say this, and this kind of like changed my perspective. They were like, if Kurt Cobain was alive today, and he's the age like he was when he was leading Nirvana. They were like, he would never want to be making TikToks. And then this person said, you know what? No, I think he would be making TikToks all day long. I think he
yeah.
would be on there saying all of his thoughts about like the punk rhetoric, the anti-establishment rhetoric, and having political commentary, and do I and I was like, I kind of do think that. I think like a lot of these people, and that's just the kind of unfortunate thing about it, is you do have to kind of just get with the program, that it is something that needs to be done, and you can see
Mhm.
it in every single industry. There's people that own car washes that have one viral TikTok and then everyone's going there, or like they own a bakery and there's, you get someone good to make a video, or like these plastic surgeons are on there promoting surgery, dentists, veneers, people in Turkey with hair transplants. Like every company imaginable is utilizing it, as even therapists. People are like selling astrology readings and like birth chart insights, and they're, so everyone can use it. But that's the problem, is when everyone uses it, then it's oversaturated. Then there's just a huge like probability that your original content will get reused. The number one thing I hate about it is the people that are unoriginal, which is it's so many people making content, just kind of taking other people's content, using slapping the same quote on a video, making it this, I see a lot of that. And that bothers me because I think like the oversaturation aspect creates inauthenticity, and that's what I think makes it harder for like the real artists. And I'm not trying to knock anyone, but some of the people that will show up as I'm scrolling and they're like, this is my new song, like check. And it's like, you have no business making music, you have
Yeah,
no swag, you have no rhythm. This song fucking sucks, by the way. Like your aura is shit. Like like I good, once again, if you want to try it, go for it. But it's the way that everyone thinks they can do it is what I think is the problem, where like
dude,
you just, not everyone can do it.
dude.
Period.
That's I oh yeah, I have to even just like cut in. First of all, I will comment really fast. Yeah, Kurt Cobain would be a huge TikToker.
Right.
To like say it best way I can. I was so obsessed with Kurt Cobain and Nirvana in my early 20s that I literally got myself hooked on heroin trying to like channel my Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
And so Kurt Cobain was Courtney Love's even talked about it, how Kurt, the whole grunge thing of, I don't want to be famous, I'm too cool for this. It was an act. Kurt was literally writing letters to record labels begging them to sign him.
Begging.
He wanted to be a rock star. So yeah, he'd be on TikTok.
Right.
I'm so glad to hear someone else finally say it, that this whole idea of anybody can do anything they want to do. And then again, I use Kurt Cobain for the example because I always say it, you think about all the people on the internet you see trying to be Kurt Cobain, they're fucking cringe. But you know who was just like Kurt Cobain, but not cringe? Kurt Cobain, because he was born with it and he had the aura. And it's
Right.
like, I hate to say it, but I'm always joking about, dude, we got to keep ugly people out of music. We need attractive rock stars again. We need good looking musicians. Like there was a time when like all musicians could be hung up on an 18-year-old girl's wall, cut out of magazines. And now it's like,
Yes.
dude, there's this fat guy. And, sometimes I'll find some decent songs from like I don't know, some guy that doesn't have any aura. There were a few exceptions, like Weezer kind of made that their thing with like the nerd rock thing. They kind of figured out the loophole, like let's embrace being fucking nerds. But yeah, not
They also
everyone's going
made
to
it
have that
cool.
aura.
And I think like Weezer's a great example because even though they didn't have the classic aura, they still had aura. They
Yeah,
just did
yeah,
it in
yeah.
a new way, right? Like where it's still like they're the king of the nerds, right? Like the nerds still have a king too. And not like they are, but like, in that, from that perspective where like they still do have aura and have a niche. And I think like there's this Australian punk band, you probably like them. They're called the Chats. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
I haven't. I'll have to check them out.
And they're amazing. Like you should watch some of their music videos too. But like they are another example of people that don't, you'd be like, do they have aura? And then you see them and you're like, you know what? Like it's not what I would typically expect, but they're like wearing board shorts and flip-flops, but they're making fire like punk kind of metal music, kind of hard music. And but then you see them and they're like, it's kind of like a redefinition of what punk is, right? Because it used to be like, we don't care, so we wear leather and spikes and do this because it's like anti-establishment, makes people, but that's kind of like a thing now. It's, you're not going to be shocked to see someone fully tatted and see them, with piercings and a mohawk if that's their music. But what is kind of surprising is someone who's like in board shorts dressed like a dad with the same level of skills and like hitting the same, you're like, whoa, these dudes are tough. Like they are about it. So I think like there are ways of redefining, like honing in on aura in this new day and age where it's already so oversaturated. So what can you bring that's different? But like you can't have no aura, be untalented, have no swag, not be good at, and that's the problem, is that it's a lot of people like that. And like Oh God, there's something I really want to say, but it's, it's another, it's something I, probably should not say in a public setting because they're doing really well right now. But there's like a couple people that I know that are like a cover band, if you will. I mean, they have their own music, but like they just released this song and it's a cover, which is cool. Like people like those old music, or, you can do that, but it sounds exactly like the original song. It's essentially just like a new version, a little bit more of like a modern version of this song. And they're doing really well, but it's like that's funny because they've been, how many original songs do they have that they've been promoting and promoting and promoting, and they don't have aura. So some people can recreate well, and then, and that's why there's even like, there's a lot of people in LA like that, where they're inspired not from what's in them but from what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you can be a great copycat, but that does not mean that you should be charting or like taking the spot of someone who wrote their own thing, who's not stealing a song, who is writing something new, channeling something new. So um yeah, I'm kind of conflicted on all of it in general. And I just, networking for me out here, everyone knows me because I got my brand. I'm like solo dollars, pink vibes, cussing bitches out, with a cig in hand, like whatever it is. But I don't like the fake stuff. I don't like to, go and pretend like I'm interested in these people that are charting because they're copying what sounds good. And you talk to them and you're like, wow, you have no authenticity. Like you can't carry this message. Like you can put on the show and do a TikTok and lip sync and sell that, but the second you open your mouth, it's gone. So I think that's what the number one issue is with just like star quality and people that are considered stars today in general, is like you used to really kind of have to be a double, triple, quadruple threat. Like all these old Hollywood actresses used to sing, dance, were classically trained in ballet, like did theater, like when, they had so many things going for them on top of being an actress, a model, whatever. Um, so, and some people are still like that, but you're seeing less and less people that are like triple threats
Mhm.
in just like across the board, and once again, is it the oversaturation concept or something else? I do think it is, though. It's just, it's going to come to a halt at some point. Like it's already getting tiring just going on social media these days. Like there's too much. It's not like everything is selling something, everything's promoting something. And I mean, I say that like I'm an artist, I do that too, but it just feels weird when you see someone who like works a normal job and then they just start, now they're trying to like be posting all the time. Now they want to go viral and they're, copying the formulas, like taking those quotes that are on memes that, 100,000 people repost, and then they're just making their own video with the. So it's just stuff like that where it's just like slop after slop after slop. And it's harder to like retain original content. And even if you do, you don't really remember it because there's so many other things you're seeing every day.
Yeah, I definitely think a lot of it's oversaturation. I also do think something that you mentioned, I think nostalgia culture is really killing a lot. Any band I find that's like a current day, modern day band, that I will admit that a lot of them I like, but they're all doing like early 2000s. Like they sound just like Deftones, or there's a band that I've really been into, but they're doing like the Michelle Branch thing. It sounds like you're walking through an old Navy in the early 2000s, which I love. I grew up on that,
Right.
but it's nothing new. It's nothing that hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
I am like just now realizing how long we've been talking and how good this has been going, that I'm starting already forgetting
No
that we
worries.
were going to talk about something. So you have
Yeah.
music coming out. I was going to bug you about that. You said you have songs coming out every Friday this month, which is
Yeah.
cool, but you're putting out a track on Friday. Um, what is that track going to be?
So this Friday the 13th, a magical unholy day. And it's
Perfect day.
also the day, it's a very big astrological day. If, people are into astrology, you should check your transits for that day because
If
it's
only
going to be
Annie
big.
was still in the chat.
Huh?
I said if only Annie was still in the chat. She's our magic person around here.
Oh, I'm sure she knows all about it. But so this song, it's called Hey Barnaby, You Suck. And it's about this, this guy named Barnaby Duke who is a fucking rapist who, I'll say this. I think like it's really interesting my take on this. I was sexually assaulted by someone that was a friend, I used to be friends with him, and I it's like I noticed, like, I know a lot of people who have been assaulted, but I don't know, like, I think we should be able to say it, like, yeah, this is the guy, he raped me, and just be able to come forward and not be afraid to say it. And I think I held back for a while because it's never happened to me before. I'd never like maneuvered as an experience like this. But as more time passes, and this guy was playing in my face. This guy was straight playing in my face, hosting parties on my block every day of the week, or not every day, every Thursday. He was throwing a party at a bar that I frequent, and like, they would even have the audacity to send me invites. And I'm like, I'm not going to go to your event. Like, this is whatever. So I sampled this really great song that weirdly, I can't give away the sample, but it's, if you can call someone out, this is the closest you can get to calling someone out by name, is finding a sample of someone saying the person's name. And, his band is called Hey Duke, You Suck. So I made a song called Hey Barnaby, You Suck, because I think it's real funny that he loves to, he's the type of guy who wears a disguise and dyes his hair all types of neon colors and wears glasses, and no one knows what he looks like because he's wearing a hat, he's covered. That's what a fucking rapist would do, is literally hide every aspect. Don't let people see the truth behind your eyes. Don't let people know who you really are. And I'm tired of people not knowing who he really is. So I actually do have another song that it's called Gotta Go. And I actually made the beat on that one too, but that came out a couple years ago. A couple years ago. No, I guess. Oh my God, yeah, it was August 2024 is when that happened. So I released that song afterwards, and kind of, but it wasn't really as direct. Like, I feel like this song is direct as far as a diss track goes. Is it even a diss track, or is it just like a I'm calling you out track? Like, you can't run and you can't hide from the truth. It's just interesting, the more people that I talk to that once were affiliated with him, and people are really not affiliating with this guy.
I'm gonna assume her thing died or whatever. I'll see if she clicks back on. Oh yeah, that was quick.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, no, you're back on.
There we go. So yeah, I mean, it's coming out. It's a pretty quick one. But I had this concept for this beat, and I was trying to make this beat for a few months, kind of not getting anywhere with it. As far as production goes, I can make my own stuff, but it's harder. I just find it harder to sample. That's like where my technical skills, I think, falter a little bit. So I recruited a friend to help me execute the vision of how I wanted it to sound, and we kind of worked with what my original concept was going for, and made this banger. And I am just super excited, day before Valentine's Day as well. So that's my Valentine's gift to myself.
Oh, you said it's quick. I was gonna point out, I might have pointed out the first time we talked. I like how all of your songs are under 3 minutes,
Oh yeah.
and I don't know if that's on purpose, but I like that because me and an old band of mine, we used to all of our songs are under 3 minutes, and it to me it helps with like replay factor. Like it's just quick, it's to the point, it's catchy. So you have to listen to it like 3 or 4 times in a row, and I appreciate a good under 3-minute song. Don't get me wrong, sometimes, songs that are like 4 or 5 minutes are cool, but yeah, no, all of your songs are always quick, to the point. It's, verse, chorus type stuff, which I think is the best kind of pop music. I think a lot of people get way too grandiose and obsessed with themselves, and they forget about I mean, it's the Beatles, right? It's
Right.
verse, chorus, verse, chorus. It's there for a reason. It's like the formula that I think pop music should abide by. But, I think, do you like so the song aside from, being like a diss tracks are like the way to go. I've always liked to get diss track. Aside from that part, Do you like, I mean, obviously you like the song, you recorded it and you're gonna release it, so but do you think it's like a good like over, even if it wasn't a diss track is what I'm trying to say,
Yes,
like if it was just about anything else, would you still be like, this is good shit?
I would. I That's the number one thing about it is like I don't want to make a song that's not catchy no matter what it's about. Like I don't want it to be droning on and on. I felt so there was actually originally a second part of this song. It's really just like one verse, to be honest with you. Like this one is short because I felt like I got my point across, you know? I felt like what's the point of kind of saying the same? You don't really need to say that in a bunch of ways. I think I when especially the topic that this one is about in particular, where there's a million different ways to call bitches out and call bitches ugly and broke and busted and groupies and that type of thing. But when it comes to something like this, where it really is a sensitive topic at the end of the day, um, and I do take it seriously, and it is something that like genuinely really altered the whole course of my life and who I am. But also, I feel like I owe it to myself to make light of it. Like, I think he really messed up because as far as I know, or as far as he's concerned, he had never done anything like this before, been in a situation like this. And it's like, you know what? You chose the wrong one. You chose the one that's gonna go and be vocal about it. And I'm not afraid. And I'm not, I think like if someone like me could say in confidence to like someone that knows him, yeah, he raped me. Yeah, this is a song I wrote about it. Yeah, if you ask him about it, he'll go silent because he knows he did something wrong. Yeah, the reason why he's never made a post about me, he's never spoken back about me all the times I've posted, because why is that, right? Because if you weren't guilty, don't you think you'd kind of step up and say something for yourself and speak up, right? And
I
he
was gonna say,
knows.
I looked at his shit after you first posted, and I mean, yeah, I know for me, I would at least be like, no, I didn't do that. Like that's pretty heavy. It's, there are some things you just ignore and let pass by, but something
That's
like
not one to
that,
ignore.
yeah, like brother, you at least say, but you at least say, you know, no,
But
no, I don't think
that's
that's the
his
case.
thing is he knows he can't even lie his way out of this one. But I find it funny. You would have thought that he'd at least lie and go online and try and save face, try and say don't listen to the rumors or whatever, but it's not a rumor. That's just the thing, and that's the reason. And he's so lucky I don't post the text messages, and he's outed himself. And I have the text threads where he outs himself, begs me not to tell people. I'm like, look, no, it's just not like that. You shouldn't have done something wrong. You don't get to do something wrong and violate a person and think that an apology will cover that or whatever half-assed shit it is that he wants to do. So I'm on his fucking neck. I'm not letting up. These platforms are staying put. He's lucky I don't step harder. It's just on the neck right now, no crunch, but a crunch could come. A crunch could come.
I had, obviously I had other stuff that we were planning on, but since we have a few minutes left, I'm gonna keep it to music.
Yeah.
The other stuff, first of all, I do think a crunch should come because I'm all down for the good stuff. Um, but okay, so other tracks after this, you said like every Friday this month. I'm
Yeah.
assuming there's more lighthearted stuff also coming.
Yeah. So this one is obviously, more of a brutal track, but the next that are coming out, I have a house song that's coming out. It's more of like an LA girl, if you ever heard that song of mine.
Yeah.
Like that type of kind of house light vibe. And then I have another like just rap song coming out. I have a couple other things. Like I'm kind of sitting on a lot of music right now and just trying to figure out like what, I think my stuff is kind of scattered. Like I love like that kind of house vibe. I love like alternative, like my, like Coastin' or like the song I did Leave. I have a couple other songs like that, and I'm like just trying to make it like less scattered, I guess. I did go through a breakup a couple months ago, and I was like, I'm not going to drop this right after the breakup right now because I'm not sad. Like, I think I was able to channel these emotions into this song, and it's really good, but it's a heavy song. So I'm like, I got to wait till I'm feeling heavy to release that because I'm feeling like this positive light energy. I want to keep the fun Dolla's kind of train moving. But yeah, I have a song. My favorite one that's coming out, aside from "Hey Barnaby, You Suck," is it's called "Hundreds." And yeah, I've had my ex-boyfriend make this beat for me. I don't know why. I was like, let's do something fun. If you're gonna force me to hang out with you, I want to get something out of this. So we made this little song. It's like dumb, but it's fun. And I do kind of shade Paris Hilton a little bit, nothing major. It was part of the lyric, and then I'm like, damn, because she really likes the song LA Girl. So I might, we'll see. I hope she doesn't listen to it because I'm not changing the song. It's fire. But yeah, we do diss
You have
Paris
one
Hilton.
song. I think it's Flex.
Yeah.
Did you do that with someone different? I noticed there's a different. It's Outsider and Hannah Dollars. So did that person produce that one, or is that like a different?
Yeah. Outsider produced Flex. And that song is actually about, so he's another one of my ex-boyfriends, actually. And so I don't know if I ever got into, the topic of my stalker with you
I don't think so,
in the
but I
past.
am not surprised that you had a stalker at some point.
I mean, like, this was for 2 years and I never met this girl in person. So that ex-boyfriend, that's like, this is a longer story, but that song essentially is a diss track to his ex-girlfriend who stalked me for years. And that's like, it's funny. I encourage you to re-listen to it now that you know, and every detail of course is real. So there is, my favorite part of that song is when I get into, we did have there was one opportunity where we could have had an altercation. She had every opportunity. She's been calling, she would call me off hundreds of spam numbers a day for years. Not just me, she'd call my friends, the new guys I was dating. She's called like people that I'm friends with from college that she found through my following, or like she's in every possible way she could talk about me or talk negatively about me to whoever knows me, she would. So I showed up to her apartment. I knew she was living with these two girls. They would, all three of them, talk about me and call my ex-boyfriends and the guys I was dating. So I just said, okay, I'm outside your house. I'm here, and you guys have three and it's just me. And so I don't care if you guys have three. We can go 3-on-1 right now on your property. Let's go. Because I'm outside the door and I'm banging on this door, wouldn't come outside. All three of them, right? So these are three girls, big talking, big slick, big, harassing me on a regular basis. Everything is dollars, 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 dollars. We hate dollars. And so I gave them the opportunity. They didn't take it. And after that, I didn't care anymore. And it was never really like I put in any effort because I was like, I'm here to solve this. We should solve it. You guys didn't want to do it. That says all that I need to hear. Like y'all could have got 3-on-1 if you wanted. They didn't take that opportunity. So I mentioned that in the song, like, how you scared with three, bitch. And then I get into a whole bunch of other stuff about, and then my ex, probably isn't helpful for her because he did get me tatted. He got a Dolla's tatted on him on his wrist to match my red tats on mine. And, like, her name on his block list, Dolla's on his wrist. Just all types of little shade comments in there. And I like it. I like that he kind of goes and, he's just like talking about how much better I am, how much he likes me. And then I'm like schooling on this girl and her little groupie friends. And so she's been silent as a mouse since that came out. But I would love, anytime she wants to resurface, I'm ready. I'm ready with these tracks. So, but that song was fun. It was really fun to make. And it was like great to release because I've already released a few, like this track I made, Gross, is about her. I have this song on SoundCloud called Poor Unfortunate Hoes. That one's also about her. I even have voice audio from her, like when she was begging to be friends with me and how cool that she thinks that I am and I'm so pretty and this and that. And so I have all this, we got like basically like an EP's worth of tracks about this girl. She still hasn't released a thing, hasn't done anything. I don't think she ever will. But I would love to hear that horrible track so I could respond in an hour, you know.
Back and forth diss tracks are awesome. I also got to say, my PSA to my brothers, fellas, you cannot be getting tattoos for girls, even if it's Hannah here. You gotta resist these tattoos for these girls.
I think it's probably wise because I will never marry that man and he will always have that. And, you can say whatever you want, say like what it is, but there's a video on my TikTok where we're filming him getting the tat and he says, "Dollars for Hannah, dollars." So, like, yeah, you can go back on your word if you want, but there is proof that that was for me. And something funny actually in October, like we had broken up by this point, but the stalker like made a group chat and she went in the last time she did a crazy stunt was in October. 32 people in a group chat, all people that are in like the scene that I'm in out here, sending pictures of her full frontal, just holding her, her ass open like this, bent over saying, "This is for you, Hannah." And like, I'm like, if this is for me, why is there 32 people in this, by the way? This is insane. But then she made a separate one that's just the girls that my ex has dated,
Wait,
or
she was
like
going full spread in front of a group of people?
full spread, sending group chat messages and saying, "This is for you, Hannah."
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was just like, so it's funny because her number's blocked. I wasn't even receiving them. But I had a couple of friends that were on the chat and I was like, what's going on? Like I'm getting messages, but I'm not seeing like who's sending, it's like all these unknown numbers. And so they called me and screen shared, and it's just this girl having a manic episode, pussy out, like spiraling over me, right? I'm like, nothing new here. She's always done this. But yeah, then she made a chat. And I guess the girl that he was dating in October, she put her and a bunch of people, and the whole time she's like, "Just so you guys know, he has dollars tatted, and like you guys, he doesn't even like you guys, he's obsessed with dollars." And I'm like, damn girl, like you and him both, like this is I felt bad for the fucking others because imagine there's like 16 girls in that chat and you're only talking about me. What's the point of even putting 16 girls in the chat? So all of these girls have like a weird feelings towards me because I'm the baddest bitch. I'm sorry. I'm the winner of the exes. I'm the best one. I'm the one to be reckoned with. And it's funny. The other night, I like saw a couple of these girls, and apparently they went up to my homeboys that I was with when I went to the bathroom, and were trying to ask about me. And my homeboys know and don't say anything. But it's like funny because I don't inquire. I don't care about you guys. Like you can date my ex. I don't care about you. If I wanted to be with him, I'd have him. But I don't. So, and then they act weird. Like, why would I want to hang out with someone that's dating my ex? Why would I want to be friends with you? Or like, and they act all weird and create these concepts and complexes in their minds. And so it never ends over here. But these bitches should not play with me because I found all their before and afters. And I'm just waiting to post them. Just waiting. So,
Yeah, LA seems like a magical place to me. LA girls seem like a whole different breed of people to me. The fact that you had a stalker and it's a girl, I have to say, is just is the tip of the iceberg. It's awesome not to be you, but it's awesome for me from the
yeah.
outside to look in
Oh, yeah.
and see this. Well, shit, I don't want to hold you up. I know you said you have a studio. A
I
studio,
am going into
what's
the
the word?
stew.
Yeah, I couldn't think of. I was trying to think of a fancier word for like date. Like I was thinking a studio engagement. There you go. You have a
Session.
studio. Yeah. So
You could say engagement works too, though.
yeah, anything fancier than whatever I was thinking. But fucking A.
Nothing major, just ripping it with the lads.
Yeah, is it always a bunch of dudes? Is it always a bunch of dudes broing out in the studio when you go there?
Yeah, I mean it's basically like there's times when I'll go just me and a producer. I have a couple dudes that I like to work with when I want to like make something, you know. I've if I'm like singing and stuff like that, I don't want a lot of people in the room. I can't be
Yeah.
distracted. I don't want to be dealing with that. Um I'm very like focused. I want to get the job done. I want it to be efficient. I don't want to be having to re-record because people are talking or like slacking off in there. Because I can handle my I like to go have a good time, but I can also balance and handle my stuff. I'm not going to be in here like throwing things off and um but yeah, like this is kind of more casual one. I'm just kind of going to see if there's anything I can like add into the mix basically. But yeah, it's usually just the fucking homeboys and Dollas. And I would love for it to be like more women, but I'm not really, there's not a lot of I think it's not a male or female issue. I think in LA, women really have no identity, and they're clinging to whatever form of authenticity they can find. And I'm not here to be your lifeboat, to guide you to how to be a bad bitch. That's, you guys don't pay me enough for that. Point blank period. You're not interesting enough for that. So I don't do charity work with these girls anymore. I think like that's kind of how I view it. I go out alone most of the time. I've done that for a while too. Like I really don't even remember the last I went out with my one of my best friends from college on Halloween, but like aside from that, I'm going by myself places. I'm not letting that stop me cuz I'd rather not be stopped by haters, or I go to the bathroom and these girls are talking shit about me, or like trying to get with the guy that I'm with. It happens too frequently. And that's just what happens when you're like a person who's really confident, because insecure people, you just can't help it. You're like reflecting insecurities back to people without trying to, just by existing. So I'm tired of having to lower my light, water myself down. So I feel like it's easier to hang out with boys these days because I'd rather reject a man than like be hype. Like, I think if anything, men might be a little bit like interested in me or whatever, but that's easy to curb. It's like let me cuss you out for a second, and let me tell you a couple stories about my ex-boyfriends, what happens to them. I think you're not going to want to pursue this further. Let's talk about the tax bracket you need to be in to pursue this. Like they don't want to go there. So, end of the day, that's like my thoughts on it. Yeah.
It's probably true. If I was a girl, I'd imagine it'd be easier to hang out with guys that have schoolboy crushes, basically, than girls that want to, do the girl thing. Because girls always just seem like they're at war with each other, and
Wow.
you
It's a lot
know,
of studying. It's just like a lot of like things that I notice are, it's like I feel like I'm being observed. I don't feel like I'm having a conversation. I feel like people pry. People are like trying to get information. It doesn't feel like a conversation. Um, and so I tend to just not have them or keep them very surface level. Um, in that case too, because I'm a private person. I've dealt with stalkers. I've dealt with a lot. I don't need any more. I don't even really want female friends at this point. Like I've had enough. I've had my fun. I'm like the female friend that I've always wanted, and I live with myself, and I'm like doing this all day every day with myself. So it's enough for me. But
yeah,
it
hell
sucks
yeah.
for people that don't have this, because I think that's why they're so miserable, surrounded by a bunch of like-minded plebeians. Um, you know,
Yeah, so many people, and I was like this throughout my 20s, unfortunately. So many people are misery loves company type. They are
yeah,
miserable. Therefore, everyone around me, you kind of have to pull everyone into the miserable boat with you. And then when you see someone who's totally fine being in their own boat, not miserable, it almost becomes personal. It's like, why is that person not getting over in this boat with me? Let me hit up their ex. Start causing
seriously.
start causing troubles.
It comes in like it's exactly that. It's a questioning of like, how are you like this, or why are you like this? And I notice it especially from the women that get work done. They really don't like me because they girls that get work done know when girls haven't got work done. Let's
Yeah.
be real. Like that's the number one thing that I think bothers them the most, is because they are like, I can tell they're scoring my face looking for a sign of anything, and haven't done anything. I honestly would probably be down to. There's like one little line here that I do Botox on, but I haven't done it. That's all, and it's not even. You probably can't even see it.
No, lucky for you, I'm too cheap to purchase the 1080p streaming capability, so we're in 720. So
Perfect. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean it just smooths. It's like a face filter, but my skin has just been. When I dump men, my skin gets so good and my body gets so good, because I'm never like a bad girlfriend. I'm just like, I get the good karma of leaving a toxic person. So I'm just on an extra roll right now, I think. So the bitches aren't liking it, but I'm loving it. I think we're loving it. It's gonna be good for. I'm like starting to make some content and stuff for this song as it's coming on Friday. So yeah, we're on a roll. I'm doing a photo shoot on Friday too for the song. So those will be coming out, and it's gonna be lit.
Yeah, I always thought you'd be good at the content that we were kind of talking about earlier, just because you're funny. Um, and you've got no problem saying shit. Like, you'll say whatever. So I think you're perfectly cut out for, the stuff that people say Kurt Cobain would never do, but we all know Kurt Cobain would be doing every day if he was here today.
Right. See, I love that you agree with me on that because that really changed my and I think about too, like Courtney Love. Courtney would be all over TikTok.
Jesus.
She would be all over. You know who else I think would be all over is Marilyn Manson.
Oh, yo, he'd be like in a thong on TikTok every day. Courtney Love would be nodding off on TikTok every day.
Right?
Kurt,
She'd be
Kurt
like the Krayshawn Rock of like the 90s. Like,
yeah.
like I feel like it'd be there's like these crash out people. Like a lot of people would do it. I think like I could see someone like Michael Jackson being averse to that. Someone like But interestingly enough, Britney Spears is on TikTok and or on Instagram Live making videos all the time. So who knows? Maybe she would like to do it too. Like, but it's funny and something just real quick we'll touch on the stuff that people are doing, like Jenna Ortega and the like Miley Cyrus, and they're like becoming all gaunt. I don't know why that is, but it's like either people are sucking the fat out of their face or they're putting too much filler in. And I just think we should end this with like, don't touch anything if you don't have to right now. Just like let it be or think further on it before you do anything.
Yeah,
That's
let your face, like we said, let your face fall before you lift it. If it doesn't need
yes.
lifting, it's you don't actually want to go to an 11 out of 10 with your face. You want to be at a 10 out of 10.
Right? Like 11 is, what you just use a filter on Instagram if you need it to be an 11 for a day. Like I don't even know how that works, but I realized I didn't get into that. Next time I come on here, we'll talk about that because I have some theories about that as well.
Yeah, we definitely got to get into those theories.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, shit. Fucking hey, thanks for coming on. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for talking about hockey, pop culture stuff, girls with skeleton faces, Bonnie Blue, and your music.
Yeah, and my stalker and my rapist. Love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no.
Just the whole squad's here. It's
Yeah,
great.
of course. We had to cover all the bases. And we didn't even cover all the bases. There will be a part 2 and a
Yeah,
part
we've
3
got
and
a
part
part
4.
2 on this for sure.
Well, all right, hell yeah. I'm gonna hit the outro. Like I said, as soon as it starts, you're good to get out of here. Hopefully you have a good night. Hopefully you get some good shit done at the studio.
Thank you. And thank you for having me on as always. Always a pleasure talking with you, Beckett.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, I'll send you a DM.
Right on. All right.
All right. Peace.
And we're all here today to groove and have a beautiful time together, and that it's only the beginning.